An invasive species is one which is non-native and which causes damage, either environmental or economic, or is harmful to human health. Invasive species may have been transported deliberately, such as with ornamental plants, or they may have been moved around the globe unintentionally, such as through ballast water or contaminated agricultural products. One of the best ways you can help combat the spread of invasive species is by learning to identify them. We'll now take a look at 5 terrestrial invasive species that are present in Lake County and are especially problematic. Spotted knapweed is a biennial or short-lived perennial herbaceous plant that grows 2 to 3 feet high. Originally from Eastern Europe, it prefers open areas and well-drained soils. It is intolerant of full shade, and it spreads rapidly in disturbed areas. Spotted knapweed is a problem not only because it crowds out native plants, but also because it releases a chemical into the soil that causes other nearby plants to die and makes it difficult for native plants to grow even after spotted knapweed has been removed from the landscape. Flowers appear thistle-like, are about an inch across, and are pink to purple. They bloom in July through September, and each plant has between 25 and 100 flower heads. The bracts surrounding the base of the flower have black tips, giving the flower a spotted appearance, which is where the plant's name originates. Each plant has 1 to a few upright stems, and the leaves are alternate, lance-shaped, grayish-green, and covered in small hairs. Spotted knapweed spreads by seed, which may be dispersed by rodents, livestock, or contaminated agricultural products. Seeds may be viable in the soil for up to 7 years. Japanese barberry is a small shrub native to Japan. It was originally introduced as an ornamental plant and was used in forming hedges and in erosion control. It's a highly adaptable plant and is tolerant of shade and drought. It colonizes a variety of habitats, including wooded areas, fields, and wetlands. Japanese barberry is a problem because it forms a dense understory that shades out native plants and reduces biodiversity. Deer prefer not to feed on Japanese barberry, giving it further advantage. It can also pose a threat to human health. Researchers have found that areas colonized by Japanese barberry have a higher prevalence of deer ticks that carry Lyme disease. Japanese barberry grows 3 to 6 feet tall. Slightly curved stems are grooved, and there is a spine at each node. Round, oval to spoon-shaped leaves are arranged in clusters above the spines. Egg-shaped berries 1 centimeter in size start out green and turn bright red as they ripen. Berries are mature in August and remain on the plant throughout the winter. Japanese barberry spreads both vegetatively and by seed. Seeds are dispersed by birds as well as by humans. Common buckthorn is a deciduous shrub or small tree from Eurasia. It was brought to Minnesota in the mid-1800s as an ornamental plant. It prefers well-drained soil and is a threat to a variety of habitats, including woodlands. Common buckthorn is a problem because it outcompetes native plants and forms a dense near monoculture, degrading wildlife habitat in the process. The berries can have a laxative effect on birds that eat them. It also serves as a host to pests that threaten agricultural crops, such as crown rust fungus and soybean aphid. Common buckthorn can grow 10 to 25 feet high. The bark is gray to brown, and cutting into a branch will reveal the orange heartwood. You can often find a woody spine at the end of each twig. leaves are subopposite, occasionally appearing opposite or alternate. They are toothed and their shape is broadly elliptic with a pointed tip. Leaves stay green later into the fall than many native plants, making it an easy time to spot common buckthorn. Subopposite buds resemble a buck's hoof, which is where the name buckthorn comes from. Clusters of black berries, a quarter-inch in size, ripen on the female plants in August and September, and the seeds remain viable for up to 5 years in the soil. Common buckthorn is spread by seed, which birds disperse after eating the berries. Japanese knotweed is a perennial, shrub-like herbaceous plant. Originally from Asia, it was introduced into the United States in the late 1800s as an ornamental plant and was used for erosion control. It colonizes a variety of habitats, but riparian areas such as stream banks and lake shores are especially vulnerable. Japanese knotweed is a problem because it forms dense thickets that crowd out native species. Its dense foliage shades out native plants, creating bare patches of soil underneath its tall stems that are then susceptible to erosion. It also has strong rhizomes that can push their way under pavement and damage property and infrastructure. Japanese knotweed grows over 10 feet tall. Its stems are bamboo-like in appearance and are smooth and hollow with swollen joints. Leaves are alternate, and they are broadly oval or heart-shaped with pointed tips. Leaves are 6 inches long and 3 to 4 inches wide. The greenish-white flowers grow in clusters from leaf axils, and they bloom in late summer. Japanese knotweed spreads vegetatively via rhizomes. Root and stem fragments as small as half an inch can grow into a new plant, which is what makes them especially effective at spreading via waterways. Purple loosestrife is a perennial forb originally from Eurasia. It grows 1.5 to 8 feet tall, and it threatens wetlands. Purple loosestrife is a problem because it degrades wetland quality by forming dense monocultures, outcompeting native plants, and changing the hydrology of the soil. This, in turn, negatively impacts wildlife. The most noticeable identifying characteristics of purple loosestrife are its striking rose to purple-colored flowers, which bloom in July to mid-September. Each flower has 5 to 7 petals. The flowers are arranged on a flower spike, which can be a few inches to 3 feet long. The stem is squarish, with 4 to 6 sides, and is smooth to slightly hairy. Leaves are simple, lance-shaped, 3/4 of an inch to 4 inches long, and are opposite or whorled. Opposite pairs of leaves tend to be rotated 90 degrees from the pair below them. Purple loosestrife may set seed starting in late July, and each plant can produce as many as 2.7 million seeds. Purple loosestrife spreads primarily by seed, and seeds are spread by wildlife, humans, and the elements. There are various ways to treat invasive plants once you've identified an infestation on your property. The most effective method will depend on the species, and often a combination of different treatment methods is required. Some species can be controlled by being cut down, pulled up, or mowed. Trained professionals may also use herbicides or fire to treat an infestation. When treating invasive species, it's important to understand that persistence and patience are key. It may take several years to see results. Some species resprout vigorously after being cut or burned. For others, seeds may remain in the soil for several years, and so new plants may continue to grow. It's advisable to plant native plants in the treatment area once invasive plants are removed, because disturbed lands are often vulnerable to recolonization by invasive species. Treating invasive species infestations can be costly and time-consuming. That's why our best first line of defense is prevention. There are several steps you can take to help prevent the spread of terrestrial invasive species. When you go out hiking or recreating outdoors, make sure to clean your shoes and recreational equipment such as ATVs or bicycles. Seeds can hitch a ride in the mud that gets stuck between the grooves of your shoes and tires. When you're landscaping, try to choose native species when possible. Native plants are already well suited to the environment and will require less inputs and have better survival. If you do spot an infestation of an invasive species, whether at home or out on a trail, take a moment to report it using the Great Lakes Early Detection Network app on your smartphone. If you don't carry a smartphone with you, you can jot down the species and approximate location and report it via the EdMaps website on your home computer. If you can, take a photo. Reports are verified by local professionals. If you would like to learn more about managing terrestrial invasive species, contact our office at 218-834-8370. Together, we can prevent the spread of invasive species.